SaaS-based applications and public cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We're in the cloud generation now, so your firewalls have to be engineered to fit right in. Reclaim your cloud network. Try a Barracuda Cloud Generation Network or application firewall free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Mike Gallagher.
I've been looking for an anti-NRA caller for about 2 weeks, and I haven't had much luck, but I think Ron might be one, so this could be fun. Hey, Ron, welcome to Nashville. You're on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Well, thank you, but I don't know that I have to be called anti-NRA. I've been a long
That's
time
okay.
hunter.
We just want to see if we can mix it up a little bit.
Well, wait a minute. Military service. I have a carry license.
Yes,
Couple
sir.
things. One, I think the students are entitled to free speech, just as the
They sure
NRA is. I've been listening with interest, and I've not heard that these students are demanding the disbarment of the NRA. I think what I've heard is, as young citizens, gee, maybe there's a better way to have a government where we don't buy and pay for all our state legislators.
Right, and of course, and if you feel that way, excuse me, hang on, Ron, let's have a dialogue. Ron, hang on, let's have a dialogue. If you say that about the government and the role of lobbying organizations, you should feel that way across the board, right? Not just the NRA.
Oh no, I totally agree with you, and I'm not in favor of disbanding the NRA. The NRA has a right to join forces and advocate their position. I have no problem with that. I personally think we should have no lobbying, period. I think if you pay a legislator, you should go to jail. What do we do? Watch the senators and the congressmen. When they retire, what do? They become lobbies.
Sure.
Our government says it's perfectly okay to buy and pay for legislators.
I get it. There's a lot of there are a lot of people who think that you need to, if we could take money out of politics, everything would be a lot purer, and I get that. That's a little bit like saying, I wish a politician always told the truth. Or I wish that's like saying, I mean, there are some practical realities here. There's some pragmatism that goes into play. So if you've got lobbying groups that try to fight for a woman's right to have an abortion, you sure as heck shouldn't object to a lobbying group that fights for the right to keep and bear arms. And many of us believe that the right to keep and bear arms is under siege, that right, and that's why a group like the NRA is so successful. But I hear your point. We're going to continue from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville. Coming up, this Broward County Sheriff's Deputy, who has become just vilified all over the world, says there's more to the story than what you're hearing. And he is mounting back with a vigorous defense. That and more all coming up.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/America. That's ZipRecruiter.com/America. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/America.
Hey, my name's Brant. You ever make a change and then wonder, why didn't I do this a long time ago? That's what's happening for thousands of people with regard to their health care. They're joining MediShare, and then they're wondering, why didn't I already do this? For most members, it costs less than half what they were paying for their old health plan. There's a huge provider network, too. You can customize your plan, and This is awesome. MediShare members can go online with a doctor 24/7. So if you need a prescription for the flu or something, it's so convenient for you and your family. So yeah, this is one of those why did I wait on this things. And if you don't love your current health plan, you're not stuck with it. You can join MediShare anytime. By the way, to give you an idea, the typical savings for a family, about $500 a month. It just makes so much sense. Check it out. They're super easy to talk to. Call 866-79-BIBLE. That's 866-79-BIBLE. 866-79-BIBLE.
Mike Gallagher.
I am so excited. The very first offer that I was able to give you from MyPillow is back. Mike Lindell, the inventor.
Flooded vehicles from recent hurricanes will soon be flooding the used car market, so it's buyer beware. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap and a flood title issued to that damaged car. But some unscrupulous dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price seems too good to be true, there's a good chance you're buying a lemon. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect it before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start to see if a car has been in a flood. Go to www.nicb.org to check it out. And if you suspect fraud, give us a call at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Beaver County Radio, your source for everything Beaver County since 1948 at 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
I'm Patrick Foss. 2 former U.S. presidents were among the thousands of people to say farewell to Billy Graham in North Carolina this week.
On consecutive days, former Presidents George W. Bush and Bill Clinton came here to Billy Graham's boyhood home to view the preacher's casket and visit with the family. Each of them was influenced by Graham. At the age of 11, Clinton attended a Graham crusade. He called it a profound experience in his life. And Bush spoke of Graham's impact on his life. A 1985 conversation with the minister prompted Bush to recommit his heart to Jesus Christ and give up alcohol. Greg Clugston at the Billy Graham Library in Charlotte.
Gun safety issues continue to dominate most of the discussions on Capitol Hill.
In the wake of the Parkland shootings, House Speaker Paul Ryan says one thing is clear.
There was a colossal breakdown in the system locally.
Ryan says they will listen to the high school survivors calling for new gun laws.
But we also want to make sure that we protect people's due process rights and legal constitutional rights while making sure that people who should not get guns don't get them.
As for arming teachers, Ryan says that as a parent, he supports the idea, but he believes it's a state issue.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Ines at a news conference Tuesday. Florida Governor Rick Scott says he wants to make sure that the Parkland school shooting that killed 17 is the last one to occur, at least in Florida.
My goal is to make sure that with this tragic event, that we make sure we make the changes necessary to make sure this never happens in our state again.
Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed is likely to increase interest rates to keep inflation under control.
Despite the recent volatility, financial conditions remain accommodative. In the committee's view, further gradual increases in the federal funds rate will best promote attainment of both of our objectives.
Former State Senator Debbie Lesko has won the Republican nomination in Arizona to replace Trent Franks in the U.S. House. More of these stories at townhall.com.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. Call 1-800-990-6976.
A A 5-hour pause in the Syrian government's assault on the rebel-held eastern Ghouta outside Damascus is underway, although both sides have reported fresh artillery attacks.
After a couple of hours of quiet, this temporary ceasefire appears to have crumbled. The Russian military accused the rebels of raining mortar fire on an evacuation route that civilians were supposed to use in order to leave eastern Ghouta. Not a single civilian, claim Russian media, has left the besieged area as a result. The accusation of firing mortars has been denied by the rebels. A UK-based monitoring group also reported that the Syrian government carried out airstrikes on 2 towns.
The BBC's Martin Patience. Nigeria's government said Tuesday to set up a panel to investigate the abduction of 110 girls from their school last week by Boko Haram. This is townhall.com. Comcast, the owner of NBC and Universal Pictures, has launched a bid for British pay TV broadcaster Sky that threatens to thwart the takeover ambitions of media mogul Rupert Murdoch.
The firm is offering $29.50 billion for Sky. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts calls Sky an outstanding company and says British broadcaster would boost Comcast's global presence. We think that Sky would be very valuable to us as we look to expand our presence internationally, he says. Murdoch's 21st Century Fox's bid to buy the 61% of Sky it does not already own has been slowed down by regulatory problems in Britain. The primary problem is that a Fox takeover would give the Murdoch family too much control of Britain's media. Sarah Shackley, London.
Two-time NL Cy Young Award winner Tim Lincecum has signed with the Texas Rangers on a 1-year deal. He last pitched in the majors in 2016.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tata. Children are curious little things. I remember once while doing grocery shopping, a little boy yelled out to his mother that he wanted a race car just like mine. That race car was my wheelchair. As a quadriplegic, I have had kids stare and point, as well as embarrassed parents quickly shushing their children. But to me, these moments are a great way to start a conversation on disability. The thing is, how do you even get that conversation started? How do you explain to a child what it's like to be a quadriplegic or to be visually impaired or have autism? The good news is, there are many resources out there, from videos to children's books on disabilities to fun activities that can simulate what it's like to have a disability. To learn more and download free resources for kids, check out our Kids Corner link at disabilitycampaign.org.
Let's face it, too often in life, too many people and too many organizations make promises they cannot keep or do not keep. Hospitals do that. Nursing homes do that. Insurance companies do that all the time. At LGKG, we not only keep our promise to prosecute your case to the best of our ability, but we also promise that we will help make sure that the insurance company keeps their promise to you. At LGKG, you can count on us to keep our promises.
This is your total information source, The Mike Gallagher Show. We keep you connected to the headlines like no one else, featuring the biggest newsmakers and news breakers.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
What I would say to your millions of listeners all over the country is now is the time to let your voice be heard.
And now, in the ReliefFactor.com studios, here is Mike Gallagher.
We are on the road again today, broadcasting from beautiful Nashville, Tennessee, the Gaylord Opryland Resort, which is hosting the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, and a big event for people who are familiar and embrace the religious broadcasting community all throughout the world. And some of the biggest and brightest names in this industry are here, and we're just proud to be broadcasting. We're set up right outside the big registration area. We're in one of the 19. There are 19 lobbies in this hotel. And I'm not even sure what lobby I'm supposed to go to get into my room. It may take me till tomorrow to get into my room, because you need like a guide to get through this massive complex. But a whole bunch of smiling faces and a lot of people who've already come by to say hi, and we're very, very proud to be broadcasting from the National Religious Broadcasters Association. You know, if you listen to this show a lot, you know one of my passions is support of law enforcement. And I always try to give police officers the benefit of the doubt. My foundation, Gallagher's Army, the Fallen Officer Fund, assists the families of police officers who've been killed in the line of duty. And there has been a vilification, there's been a real public condemnation of one sheriff's deputy in Broward County in particular. His name is Scott Peterson, and he wants the world to know that what you've heard about him is not entirely correct. And I have to tell you that as I've been sort of watching the pile on, and America has been saying this guy was a coward, he's the Broward coward, he didn't do what he should have done, he was outside for... There were some kids who saw him. There were some teenagers at the school who saw this deputy outside the door and not go in. He was kind of, the way they characterized him, cowering by a stairwell. Now, this guy was, up till now, a beloved, respected school safety resource officer. He just won an award a couple of years ago for his work with this school. And so, finally, this sheriff's deputy, who's been in hiding since this happened, and he's been condemned by President Trump, he's been condemned by the media, he's been condemned by high schoolers at Stoneman Douglas School. And I have to admit my personal apprehension of this, because I know what police officers go through day to day. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours riding with officers in the middle of the night when they get out of a cruiser and they go up to a car. They don't know if the person behind the wheel is going to start shooting at them or not. They typically go to the scene of problems, not run away from it. But this guy has been condemned without any benefit of process. There's been no due process. This Sheriff Israel has thrown him under the bus. Listen, the jury's out on Sheriff Israel. This is a guy who just says, I'm providing great leadership. I've given them the training, my deputies. If they don't do the right, he's kind of all over the map. And there's a lot of people calling for Sheriff Israel to resign his position as Broward County Sheriff. But back to this officer, I'm thinking, I guess he didn't do his job. I guess he should have gone in there. But here's what he's saying. He is responding this way. He said that he thought the shooter, or the shooters, because he thought there might be multiple shooters, were outside the school, not inside. And there's a little fact that kind of supports this, an important fact. One of the victims of the monster who went to this school last week and killed all these innocent people, one of the victims was on the ground outside. And apparently this deputy saw the victim outside. So he was led to believe, as well as the first Coral Springs Police Department responder, to lock in on that interpretation, that there are multiple shooters, maybe inside, maybe outside. Now, I don't know whether that negates what he did or didn't do. We'll never know. We'll never know. Or maybe if there's a trial, if there's accountability, who knows. But we are in a mindset right now in our society where we are judge, jury, and executioner immediately. We're condemning people because Vanity Fair says so. We see something on social media, done. You're finished. Somebody says something about another human being, if the media decides you're guilty, you're guilty. There's no trial. There's no prosecution. There's no defense. There are no real witnesses. There's no sworn testimony. That's it. Twitter says you're guilty. And I do believe we ought to be open to the possibility that this sheriff's deputy, and we all know who he is by now, he has no anonymity. His name is Scott Peterson. There are other sheriff's deputies who were there. We don't know their names. But this guy has been the boogeyman. This guy has been the bad guy. This guy has been the coward of Broward. Now, can you imagine a man who has spent his life in law enforcement, suddenly, because of the evil actions of one person, he sees his whole life destroyed because Twitter has decided he needs to be destroyed. I've got a problem with that. If it's true that there wasn't, and we know there was a victim at least outside, we know that the police initially believed they were called for firecrackers. And we know that it was Peterson who had the school administrators check the video surveillance system to try to track down this monster killer. I believe there's a possibility there's been a rush to judgment about this guy, and I think we ought to all take a big step back and recognize the power of social media and how it has the ability to utterly destroy people within a blink of an eye. And that's a problem. 1-800-655-MIKE. Let's see if you agree with me or not. Look at what social media is doing to companies like Delta and United and all these other companies who say, we're going to cut ties with the NRA. Well, that's it. We're not going to work with the NRA. No more discounts if you want to rent a car with Enterprise Rental if you're an NRA member. Why are they saying that? They're not saying this because they suddenly have some crisis of confidence about the NRA. They're saying that because they got 973 tweets, and they're afraid of the tweets. Or they got 1,100 emails. Oh, my gosh, we got 1,100 emails. You know how many millions of people belong to the NRA? You know how many millions of people support the right to keep and bear arms? And yes, millions of people who say, let's try to figure this out. Let's get better school safety. Let's figure out how to strengthen background checks. Let's look at common sense solutions rather than have a bunch of kids from Stoneman Douglas High School say the NRA is a terrorist organization. The NRA has blood on its hands. The NRA ought to disband. And people hear 15, 16-year-old kids pronounce that, and they go running for the hills. Now, I'm not going to castigate these kids from Stoneman Douglas. They've been through a hell that none of us would want our kids to experience. They feel they have a voice, they have a platform. They're getting on Jimmy Kimmel, they're getting on Ellen DeGeneres, they're on MSNBC morning, noon, and night. They're on CNN almost by the hour. Heck, some of these kids I'm starting to think they are CNN correspondents. But you know what? It's not productive to badmouth these kids. It's not productive to call them names and call them tyrants and call them, they're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. I've got socks older than these kids. And so let them spout off. Let them believe the way they believe. Let's meet them in the arena of ideas as adults. Let's be the adults and say, here's why we think respectfully you're wrong when you say the NRA and all its members are terrorists. Here's why we think you're mistaken when you say the NRA should disband or just, completely, forfeit their right to be an organization. Here's why we think you're mistaken when you say, this one kid, David Hogg, I'm not going back to school until we have better gun control legislation. Well, young man, you may not be going back to school for a long time. You might be 30 before you go back to high school, and I wouldn't want that for you, so maybe your parents will prevail. But again, let these kids have their voice. Let's not name call them. Let's not browbeat kids who in some cases crawled over the bleeding dead bodies of their friends to get out of that school. They've been through a hell, and we ought to have some grace and compassion for them as well. It's 16 past the hour. Let me know what you think about my initial reaction about this police officer. Let's see if you agree with me or not, because maybe I'm blinded by my support for law enforcement, but I suspect there may have been a rush to judgment involving this sheriff's deputy, this school safety resource officer, Scott Peterson. We're at the NRB in Nashville. Our number is 800-655-MIKE. You can call or text us, 800-655-6453. If you're near a computer, you can watch the show. We're streaming thanks to our friends at Relief Factor, so you can watch what we're doing and as well as listen to us, and you can also interact in the chat room. There's a whole big, robust debate going on right now at the MikeOnline.com Relief Factor chat room, so just click on the Mike on TV button, get engaged with your fellow chatters, and it's a great group. It's a real neat community of people, so that's a lot of fun, and it's free. Go to MikeOnline.com, click the Mike on TV button. We're going to go off and run into your phone calls, get your reaction to all of this. A busy week. It's Tuesday at the NRB. Welcome in to this special edition of The Mike Gallagher Show.
It's a feeling that's fine, and I just gotta say, hey, she's really got a magical spell, and it's working so well that I can't get away. I'm a lucky fella, and I just gotta tell her that I love her endlessly. Oh, for love grows where my rosemary goes, and nobody knows like me.
You know what's fun about doing a remote broadcast is I can watch faces and the people who've come by to watch, and I can see if I'm on target or I'm not. I'll see people nod their heads, shake their heads, so far a lot of nodding heads, so I guess so far so good. And I've got a nodding head and love the message for you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor sponsors our video stream, and I love these guys. I love this company. It's a father-son team that came up with a remarkable product. What are you not doing because of back pain? What are you not doing because of leg pain or hip pain? Why don't you give Relief Factor a try? Instead of ibuprofen or prescription drugs, try this natural product that physicians developed. Relief Factor is made from high-quality fish oil and essential nutrients and gives your body the help it needs to fight the swelling and the back pain. Works for me. I think you need to give it a shot. For 3 weeks, it's $19.95. What do you have to lose except $20? The 3-week quick start is at relieffactor.com. I take a packet in the morning, packet in the evening. Of course, I bring it with me when I travel to something like the NRB here in Nashville. It really does work. In fact, 80% of the people who try the 3-week quick start buy it again. Go to relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com, or call 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384 for Relief Factor.
You like freedom? I do. You like money? Well, I do too. If you like freedom and money, then you're going to love Freedom Checks. You see, over the next few months, an estimated $34.6 billion is up for grabs to anyone who stakes their claim. Yep, you heard that right, $34.6 billion. To get all the details, just go to www.claimfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. And if Doug can do this, I've got a hunch that you can too. But here's the thing. If you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion payout, you must have your ducks in a row by March 1st. So don't wait. Get over to www.claimfreedomchecks.com before the March 1st deadline. That's www.claimfreedomchecks.com.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Now, a new generation of Americans is asking if the media are doing enough for our country. And that's why millions are tuning into Newsmax TV, America's fastest-growing conservative news channel, already in 50 million homes. Go to Newsmax TV. It's real news for real people, every minute, every day. Newsmax TV on DirecTV 349, Dish 216, UVerse 1220, and Fios 615.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Mike Gallagher.
You know, I'm not a genius about money. I love my credit cards, and they love me. I was using them as a source of income, and then I got behind in my payments, and creditors were calling. I figured I had a problem, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I heard about Trinity, so I called and talked to a counselor. In half an hour, we worked out a plan. Now I've got one easy monthly payment, a lower interest rate, and I'm getting out of debt.
If you're in an endless cycle of paying on credit card balances that never seem to go away, then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity will consolidate your accounts, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. Call 1-800-990-6976.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-651-4888 now. That's 800-651-4888 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-651-4888 to learn more. 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with Omega-6, Omega-3, Vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Mike Gallagher.
The Broward County Deputy Scott Peterson says he's no coward, and he wants people to know that what has been said about him isn't true. I have been apprehensive about this narrative all along, that maybe there has been a rush to judgment, but I see on the screen a caller named Russ who says, Mike, I love you, but you're wrong on this cop. I got to go to that caller. Russ, we'll start with you. Welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. How are you, sir?
Gallagher, how cool. I do love you, man. You're a good guy. Look, and I'm
Thanks,
sorry
Russ.
I missed you when you were in Chicago last time. Anyway.
We'll be back. Don't worry.
I do believe that somebody shouldn't be condemned before we know everything. But I believe that this cop,
right.
Look, you could spend 30 years as a cop and never do anything more than write a ticket. That doesn't impress me, okay? But you have to remember, too, is that this cop is under the auspice of a Marxist socialist who runs Broward County, the sheriff. And this is what they do because they're playing games with numbers. And this guy did not go in. Look, just so you know, in Kentucky, the shooting there about a month ago now? Okay, one of my great nieces, 15 years old, had to witness that, and she was traumatized. But the last thing she thought about was blaming guns. Oh, sorry, Mike?
I get it, but let's go back to this deputy. Let's go back to the deputy for a moment. Don't you think that while all the facts are still going to be out and we're going to figure out what did or didn't happen, there has been sort of an over-the-top condemnation of this guy before we knew all the facts?
No, and like I said, Russ? I agree with you. We shouldn't condemn the guy just because of a little bit of information. We need to know more. But don't forget, there was also
right, exactly, and remember something, Russ. Pardon me for interrupting, but remember this is coming from Scott, from the sheriff himself. It was Sheriff Israel in an unprecedented, extraordinary step. He singled out his own deputy, saying that he was sickened that he didn't go in, and he threw this guy under the bus. Now maybe that's how he really feels, but listen, as a sheriff of Broward County, do you believe in the due process? Do you believe in some sense of, an investigation, evidence, witnesses? No, this Sheriff Israel is sitting on CNN talking about how sick he is about his own deputy, and he should have gone running in guns blazing. That's to me, that's not appropriate. Maybe you see it differently. Let's find out. One open line, 800-655-MIKE. We got a lot coming up, including the president's take on it, and he's not holding back either. But when does he? That's next.
Spring is just around the corner. Now's the time to get those home projects done so you can spend spring and summer being with your loved ones. Home Advisor makes it so easy to find the right pros for any project. Whether it's a small project like fixing a leaky faucet or a big project like remodeling a kitchen, go to homeadvisor.com. Tell them about your project. In just seconds, you're going to be matched with the best professionals in the area for the exact job you need. The pros are background checked. You can read verified customer reviews, compare prices, check availability, even book appointments all online. And with their project cost guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area. No matter what home project you've been thinking about, painting, getting your gutters cleaned, even a big job like a brand new roof, HomeAdvisor.com makes it so easy to find and hire the very best pros in your area. You're going to love the way they do business. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to HomeAdvisor.com. That's HomeAdvisor.com, or download the free app to get started.
Mike Gallagher.
Neighbors helping neighbors. Locally owned. That's what Rochester Manor and Villa is all about. Rochester Manor and Villa is changing the conversation about what a senior living community is in Beaver County, providing a healthcare community on a whole new level that offers more daily choices, including new 24-hour dining options, rehabilitation accommodations, and catered living, plus a full-time in-house medical director. Rochester Manor and Villa has undergone an incredible building transformation that includes the addition of a restaurant, pub, spa, state-of-the-art therapy gym, as well as many other features designed to elevate you or your loved one's quality of life. Rochester Manor and Villa is the only skilled nursing and personal care home in Beaver County. Visit them online at rmv4me.com. That's RMV, the number 4, me.com.
Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy is a locally owned pharmacy at 525 Fifth Avenue in New Brighton. Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy is a fully computerized and automated pharmacy offering personal counseling, prescription compounding, diabetic supplies, cards, gifts, and more. Bring your next prescription to Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy. Call Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy at 724-847-7979. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Flooded vehicles from recent hurricanes will soon be flooding the used car market, so it's buyer beware. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap, and a flood title issued to that damaged car. But some unscrupulous dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price seems too good to be true, there's a good chance you're buying a lemon. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect it before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start to see if a car has been in a flood. Go to www.nicb.org to check it out. And if you suspect fraud, give us a call at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tata. Children are curious little things. I remember once while doing grocery shopping, a little boy yelled out to his mother that he wanted a race car just like mine. That race car was my wheelchair. As a quadriplegic, I have had kids stare and point, as well as embarrassed parents quickly shushing their children. But to me, these moments are a great way to start a conversation on disability. The thing is, how do you even get that conversation started? How do you explain to a child what it's like to be a quadriplegic or to be visually impaired or have autism? The good news is there are many resources out there. From videos to children's books on disabilities to fun activities that can simulate what it's like to have a disability. To learn more and download free resources for kids, check out our Kids Corner link at disabilitycampaign.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
In the radio studios of America, the technicians, the entertainers, the commentators daily unite their efforts in the creation of programs to please and entertain a vast radio public.
Cliff, thanks for hanging in. How are you?
There are millions and tens of millions of Americans that think exactly like you. And thank God you're on the air.
Thank you, Cliff. That's awfully nice of you.
That's radio for you, close to every member of the family.
Here on The Mike Gallagher Show, we aim to please. And now, back to Mike in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
There are a lot of broadcasters here at the National Religious Broadcasters Association. I've got to tell you a quick story about a guy named Ken Kettering. And he came by to say hi last night. And this is an amazing story because he is a guy from my past, from Dayton, Ohio. And I forgot until I Googled last night and realized, because he was a real well-known broadcaster and still is in my hometown area of Dayton, Ohio. And he's in Xenia, and he's a great guy, and he and his wife are here. He's with a terrific station out of Xenia, which is just outside Dayton. You may remember Xenia was the site of that horrible tornado back in 1973. It wiped out a huge part of Xenia. Anyway, Ken Kettering was a sportscaster with Omar Williams, who was the dean of Dayton area sports, he was known as. And that was my job for a couple of years. One of my first jobs was as Omar's weekend sportscaster. I think I came after Ken was there. Anyway, he comes by last night. I'm like, wow, it's been 30 years. And the guy is just the neatest person. He and his wife are just a lovely couple. And Ken and I share this neat kinship. We both beat Dan Patrick out for jobs in Dayton, Ohio. You know Dan Patrick, the big sports guy? What is he, Eric? He's ESPN, I guess, Fox Sports, but he's ubiquitous. He's on the Super Bowl at NBC, and he's big time. But in Dayton, Ohio, now, I have a better bragging rights than Ken does, because Ken actually beat him out to be weekend sports anchor at Channel 2 in Dayton, which is like a legitimate gig. I beat Dan Patrick out to be the host of As Schools Match Wits, which was the high school academic quiz show that was on Saturday nights on Channel 22 in Dayton, Ohio. Listen, when I got that job, I thought I was Johnny Carson. I mean, I had the world in my hand, and I was like 19, 20 years old, maybe 21, and I was hosting this show, and I was up against Dan Patrick, and I beat him. Now, I don't have to gloat because things turned out pretty well for him. Things turned out great for Ken. Ken still has a great storied career in Ohio, and I'm doing all right. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. And here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, I think everybody can kind of appreciate God's plan is involved in everything that happens. You don't get a job, you get a job. I mean, it's a job. But the idea that both Ken and I have bragging rights over having beat out the great Dan Patrick for anything is pretty cool. And it was nice to see Ken last night. I told him if he was by to say hi again today, but he's just a great guy, and I'm glad he's doing great in Xenia, Ohio in the afternoons, and just a great broadcaster, but more importantly, a terrific human being. 22 minutes before the hour. Got a lot going on here. The president is on his way to visit and talk about prototypes for the wall, for building a wall with the southern border. Scott Peterson is trying to ask people, this is the deputy, the Broward County Sheriff's deputy, who says, don't rush to judgment. To call me a coward and that I did something wrong is a gross oversimplification. But this is tough. Even the president, who never holds back, I know this is going to shock you, but the president has a strong opinion about the reaction of the Broward County Sheriff's deputies, and he's been very, very critical of these men and women.
You know, I got to watch some deputy sheriffs performing this weekend. They weren't exactly Medal of Honor winners, all right? The way they performed was, frankly, disgusting.
The president uses that kind of rhetoric. It's really hard when the weight of a Trump opinion comes at you. You know, all bets are off. This is the way the president, you know, emotes, how he expresses himself. It's got to be very difficult, though, to be a sheriff's deputy, this guy who now the world has judged, and they have condemned him without the benefit of any kind of real due process. And again, that's largely due to this Broward County sheriff himself. The sheriff is an outsized figure in the American imagination, writes Rich Lowry over at National Review. He's Wyatt Earp. He's John Wayne. Now along comes Scott Israel to remind us, Rich Lowry says, how a sheriff can be a hack politician whose primary concern is protecting his own political reputation. The Broward County Sheriff, whose disgraceful performance in the Stoneman Douglas shooting has been a master class in evasion of responsibility, is the latest entry in why we don't trust our public institutions. Rich says it's hard, this is Rich Lowry's words, it's hard to imagine a more comprehensive and catastrophic failure from beginning to end than that of the sheriff's office in the Parkland massacre. Now, once again, I don't know that Rich Lowry is wrong, and I have great respect for him, and I appreciate his opinions, but don't you feel that the blaming of everybody but the shooter is a little much? Don't you feel this inclination to blame the NRA, to blame the Broward County Sheriff's Department, to blame the FBI, to blame the lack of school security? Maybe there wasn't enough, a moat. Maybe they should have put a moat around the school. I mean, at some point you've got to say a monster went into that school and killed innocent people. That's on him. And our inclination is to say, all right, well, how do we prevent it from happening again? I'm all on board with saying, how do we prevent it from happening again? I'm not sure I'm loving, let's blame everybody for what this guy did and say that everybody has these 17 victims' blood on their hands. You know who has the blood on his hands? The killer, the monster who decided to do this. And while this sheriff is kind of bombastic, and I don't know, I mean, he's sort of rubbing me the wrong way, like I'm sure a lot of people are feeling, he didn't do this. His sheriff's deputies didn't do this. The NRA didn't do it. The FBI didn't do it. And I think we go overboard. It's my belief that we're going overboard in coming up with the boogeyman that we want to blame when we know who the boogeyman is. It was this little monster who decided that he was going to inflict carnage and bloodshed on these poor people. I don't know. Let me get some calls on this and see what you think. 800-655-MIKE. Andy, you're next up on the Mike Gallagher Show as we continue from Nashville. We're at the NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. How you doing, Andy?
Good morning, Mike. It's a pleasure to speak to you. And say, God bless you for everything that you do. I appreciate all the work and everything. It's good.
Thank you, Andy. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, thank you. So I just wanted to say that I agree with your point that I think that we shouldn't be too quick to judge on what or what may not happen because, we're there, we don't call the orders.
Andy, I am really, really sorry. We got a really bad cell connection, and I'm going to see if Eric can fix that because we got some cell problems. But before we do that, we're going to take a quick time out. I got some news that I've been so bouncing off the walls over for the last couple of days. And look at all the people in the audience who are looking at the guy sitting next to me who say, I've seen that guy before. Is that the pillow guy? Is that the guy that's in the medicine cabinet? You bet it's Mike Lindell from My Pillow. And we're going to chat with Mike because we've got an announcement coming up next. So don't go away. We'll continue from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention and a special announcement with a dear friend and a proud partner of the Mike Gallagher Show. I told the Uber guy last night because he asked me if the pillow really is as good as I say it is. I said, just be sure you use the promo code Mike G. MyPillow.com, promo code Mike G. We're going to meet one of the honorees here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, and a guy you see on TV all the time, one of the most successful products and biggest growing companies in America, the My Pillow Company, Mike Lindell, the creator, the inventor of the one and only My Pillow, with a big announcement you're going to want to hear, where you're going to have a chance to hang out with Mike next.
On the water, looks so lovely. Sunshine almost always makes me high.
You heard of Go-Go Meds? It's a breakthrough online pharmacy for all of us who want lower costs on prescription medication. Check out this great pharmacy called GoGoMeds.com. GoGoMeds.com. They offer the same medications as your local pharmacy at a lower cost. They partner directly with manufacturers, and they pass the savings on to you. Imagine never having to wait in line or drive to a store. All that happens is your doctor sends the prescriptions to Go-Go Meds, and then your medicine's delivered right to your doorstep. You take a monthly prescription, you can pay a price often lower than copays by using GoGoMeds.com. Every month, your medications are delivered right to your home, right on time, lowest possible price. I want you to go to GoGoMeds.com. You'll be amazed at the price, at the convenience. Be sure to use the promo code MIKE2018, and you'll get $10 off your first prescription. GoGoMeds.com. No waiting in line. Save money for all your prescriptions. GoGoMeds.com. Use the promo code MIKE2018. Promo code MIKE2018. Get $10 off your first prescription.
Mike Gallagher.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's hillsdalefreedom.com.
Giving your home a fresh look this year can seem like a daunting task, but with SelectBlinds.com, it doesn't have to be. Select Blinds makes it easy to install and score huge savings on blinds. After saying goodbye to those old blinds, shades, or shutters, you'll wonder why you didn't upgrade sooner. Nothing adds more aesthetic value to your interior than SelectBlinds.com. With products you've seen on all your favorite home improvement shows, SelectBlinds.com is an interior makeover essential. Select Blinds takes the guesswork out of ordering blinds online by offering high-quality blinds for an unbelievable price. With the most online reviews and 5-star ratings on the planet, SelectBlinds.com is the simple and smart way to get blinds. To get the best deals on blinds, shades, and shutters, shop today at SelectBlinds.com. Mention our show at checkout using the drop-down menu. Let SelectBlinds.com upgrade your home today. SelectBlinds.com.
Imagine a politician saying this today.
I have wondered at times what the Ten Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. That is a quote from Ronald Reagan. He showed us through his life, his faith, and with his words that Judeo-Christian values and principles matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan, and you can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other big tech company email address, you help them market their service with every email you send. In return, they scan your emails and target you with unwanted advertising. Well, thanks to our sponsor, ReaganPrivacy.com, you can instead share the Reagan name with every email you send, and they won't scan your emails. They'll leave you alone. Get an email address you'll be proud to own at ReaganPrivacy.com. Your very own personal private email address is available to you at ReaganPrivacy.com. Get your Reagan email address right now at ReaganPrivacy.com.
Spearphishing has or will strike your business, wreaking havoc on your employees, brand, and your bottom line. Spearphishing can't be stopped by traditional email security solutions because messages appear to be legitimate from your boss, a trusted colleague, or a vendor asking you to wire money, confirm login credentials, or worse. Barracuda Sentinel is artificial intelligence for real-time spear phishing and cyber fraud defense. Reclaim your email in minutes with zero impact on network performance. Visit barracuda.com/AI.
Mike Gallagher.
All right, now, you know I've had the opportunity to interview the president. I've interviewed the vice president. The president has Hail to the Chief. I think the vice president has, what is it, Hail Columbia, I think is his official song that gets played. This song is for this guy.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Promo code Mike G. You'll always remember the promo code. Listen, we've had so much fun partnering with MyPillow over the last year and a half. And Mike Lindell, I've told you his story about just an incredible story where a guy who hit rock bottom, lost everything, invented this pillow, found God, is this solid conservative Christian who wears his cross every chance he gets on TV. The MyPillow company has become the fastest growing company, arguably in the planet, on the planet. Now he's up in Canada on the Home Shopping Network, and here he is, the guy that you see in the medicine cabinet when you open it, and the poor guy has to call for Megan because he can't believe Mike Lindell is in his medicine cabinet. The one and only Mike Lindell is here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. How you doing, Mike?
Thanks for having me on, Mike.
How
it's
are
an honor to be here.
Well,
Really
it's
good.
an honor
Really
to
good.
have you. You're going to speak a couple of times this week.
Yeah. I'm going to speak a couple of times and looking forward to it.
And tell me about why, a guy like Mike Lindell, who is so well known for this product, this great pillow, and all the work you're doing, would be at the National Religious Broadcasters Association convention. Because a lot of people don't realize your sort of your path, your walk, and where you come from.
My pillow is just a platform for a much bigger purpose. It's my platform for evangelism, for my story of hope, my transformation. I've got a book coming out that's going and an app that's connect addicts to mentors. Just so many things I'm working on that just to give back. God's blessed me in so many ways, and I'm just very grateful to be here today, believe me.
Because you almost weren't.
Yeah, that's
you very
right.
well could not have been here. And you invented this amazing pillow that I tell strangers, you can't believe how great this pillow is.
Right.
It never goes flat. It stays nice and cool during the night. You can pop in the washer and the dryer whenever you want, and it stays clean and fresh from the allergens. It's just it's the pillow that everybody's talking about. Mike, I'm not kidding you. This has become such an iconic brand.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country's talking about MyPillow.
Well, because it works. When you talk about the 100% made in the USA, the 10-year warranty, washing and drying and all that, that wouldn't mean anything if it didn't work. The patent I have with the adjustable fill to be able for you to get the best sleep you've ever had, that's where it's at. And there's a reason I've sold over 35 million pillows now in the USA and a few in Canada. And it's just, it's so rewarding to me to see people. My passion has always been to help people. And to see the look in their face and say, this has changed my life. It's a miracle. Because, back in the day, Mike, they said to me, I've seen these ads. We spend a third of our life sleeping. Well, yeah, we all know that. Come on. It's the other 2/3 that quality sleep affects. How you interact with people, how you are at work, how you have a day off, how you have fun. I mean, if you're too tired, and people, if they know how important quality sleep is.
I just love the fact that you're a guy who you lost everything at one point, and then
a
few times, but you turned to God. You found God, and you now have this instinctive need to give back to the communities where you serve.
Right.
You're always working your foundation.
Right.
You're working hard to give back, and yet you're also rewarding people with a great product that does change their lives. But it's fun to be able to. Isn't it great to see success like this on so many levels? Not only just what you're doing with the product and the company, but the way you're giving back. And I love that.
That's what's rewarding me. People say to me, how do you have the same passion 13 years later? Well, 1,600 employees right outside of my office in my hometown.
Right.
People's faces that come up to me and they, that's changed their life, the MyPillow. But the people, to me, it's not even work. I'm having fun out there with helping people with my foundation, helping people with addictions.
Right.
Right.
I love that.
That's a
I
huge
love that
thing.
story. All right, and we're going to broadcast from the MyPillow headquarters in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I can't wait to.
Yeah.
I can't. What are you, 80,000 pillows a day you crank
we're
out?
making 80,000 a day.
You're going to show me how all that works. So when you're ready to order the pillow, the Mike 4-pack special is back, which is the original offer that kind of put us on the map with MyPillow. MyPillow.com, promo code Mike G to get 2 premiums and 2 travel go anywheres. 50% off when you use the promo code Mike G. MyPillow.com, promo code Mike G, or call 800-928-6034. 800-928-6034. Be sure to use the promo code Mike G. But I've got a big announcement that's even bigger than that. This summer, I've told you about the 2018 Aloha Talkers Cruise. Hugh Hewitt, Larry Elder, and I are going to host a group of listeners. We're going to cruise the Hawaiian Islands by day. At night, we're going to talk about Trump, and we're going to talk about the midterm elections, and we're all going to gather every night. It's going to be an amazing journey going through the Hawaiian Islands and on the beautiful Norwegian Cruise Lines cruise ship, incidentally, which is state-of-the-art. But we have a special guest who's going to be featured on the cruise, and if you join us, you will get to meet Mike Lindell. Mike, you're coming with us to Hawaii.
Coming with. It's going to be a blast.
Can we everybody clap here and give everybody Mike Lindell a round of applause? You're going to be the special featured guest. We're going to meet and greet. You're going to get to hang out with Mike Lindell if you join us on the cruise. I think we're going to probably have to start calling it the MyPillow Cruise.
Okay.
And we're going to twist your arm and see if maybe you'll give folks a pillow who in their stateroom for them or something when they come with us.
We'll work something out.
We're going to work something out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
This will be so much fun because your kid lives in Hawaii, right?
Yeah. He lives. My son, him and his wife. He just got married in Kona.
Nice. Kona. Beautiful.
He's starting a business with bringing people out for scuba diving, for scenic tours. He bought a big boat.
Oh, nice! So you get to see your family while you're cruising with us
absolutely.
a little bit.
Well, I'll wave to him from the ship.
Wave from the ship. just say like they did back in the day from the pier.
Right.
But this is going to be a great voyage.
August
11th through the 18th, and Mike Lindell is going to be on board. So you'll get to meet Mike. You'll get to talk to him about his extraordinary story. And Hewitt, Gallagher, Elder. We're good company too. We're fun to hang out with.
Absolutely, you guys are the best.
But you might get involved too in some of our conversations about the state of our country. You're an unabashed.
I just
supporter.
came from Washington D.C. I'm doing a lot of stuff with Ben Carson. He's got his new Envision centers, and I'll tell you, I got a lot of things that when we were on the cruise we can talk about.
I can't wait.
I've got a great mentor app coming out where they're going to mentor addicts.
I love that. I think that's so neat.
Mike,
so
Mike, a 22-year-old opiate addict, he might not be able to relate to a 60-year-old alcoholic. So if you get somebody his own age group, stories of hope, his own age group, that's where it's at. And
All
that's
right.
where we're going to
join us on the cruise. You go to MikeOnline.com, click on the Aloha Talkers Cruise with Mike Lindell as our special guest for MyPillow, or call 855-655-1335. Mike, God bless. Have a great time at the convention.
Thanks, Mike.
Great seeing you. More coming up. According to the Drudge Report, the president will name his campaign manager for his 2020 presidential run. I've got the name for you. We'll tell you who it is coming up as we continue from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville. Stay with us.
I found the bed sheets of all bed sheets, brooklinen.com. I'd been hearing about Brooklinen. They're based in Brooklyn, New York, and I have friends and even neighbors who have Brooklinen sheets. I finally got my own. Oh my gosh. No wonder Brooklinen is the fastest growing bedding brand in the world with over 12,000 five-star reviews. These sheets are soft, they are luxurious, they have versatile colors and patterns, and you're going to love this product. Brooklinen.com has an exclusive offer just for Mike Gallagher Show listeners. They want to prove it to you. You're going to get $20 off and free shipping when you use the promo code Gallagher at brooklinen.com. They also offer a risk-free 60-night satisfaction guarantee. The only way to get $20 off your Brooklinen sheets and free shipping is to use the promo code Gallagher at brooklinen.com. These are the best sheets ever. You're going to see. Go to Brooklinen. Brooklinen is BROOKLINEN. Brooklinen.com. Promo code Gallagher.
Hey, I'm Brant. Maybe you've heard me talking about MediShare, but now I give you my friend Sherry.
Yes, I have loved MediShare. Loved it.
Is that all you have to say? Because this will be really short.
No, I really do love it. I've saved hundreds a month, and overall, I just think it's a better way of healthcare coverage for me.
Yeah.
And I don't even like talking about healthcare coverage.
Nobody does.
But MediShare is different. MediShare members share each other's healthcare bills. We pray for each other. It's a not-for-profit, so we all save money.
True. Tell them about the thing.
What thing?
The online thing.
Oh, yeah, I used that the other night. MediShare members can now access a doctor online 24/7. You can get a prescription for the flu or something just that fast.
So MediShare can save you hundreds a month. You get to be part of the community. You get a huge network of doctors and providers to choose from.
It's all pretty awesome.
It's all pretty awesome.
It's all pretty awesome.
The final verdict from Jerry. So call 866-79-BIBLE. That's 866-79-BIBLE. 866-79-BIBLE.
Mike Gallagher.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good.
Flooded vehicles from recent hurricanes will soon be flooding the used car market, so it's buyer beware. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap and a flood title issued to that damaged car. But some unscrupulous dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price seems too good to be true, there's a good chance you're buying a lemon. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect it before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start to see if a car has been in a flood. Go to www.nicb.org to check it out. And if you suspect fraud, give us a call at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Beaver County Radio, your source for everything Beaver County since 1948 at 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge.
Because the late Reverend Billy Graham will lie in honor Wednesday in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda.
It is a rare distinction offered to less than a handful of Americans who did not serve an elected office. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell extended the invitation.
If there is any American whose life and life's work deserves to be honored by laying in honor in the U.S. Capitol, it's Billy Graham.
It's an honor extended by a grateful nation to one of the truly unique figures in world history.
Lying in honor is different than lying in state, which has most often been extended to former presidents, including President Abraham Lincoln. The platform used to bear Lincoln's coffin is the same one that will be used for Billy Graham. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Louisiana Congressman Steve Scalise says a breakdown of the system is to blame for not preventing the Parkland High School shootings,
including ignoring red flags that could have stopped the gunman.
Clearly, there are people at the FBI that chose to let this go, and I think we ought to know about this.
But Scalise, who was critically injured when a gunman opened fire on a congressional baseball practice, says he's most concerned by the failure of local law enforcement.
There was a sheriff's deputy trained and armed at the school, assigned to protect the school, and he hid out instead of protecting those students and confronting the shooter.
Scalise says he wouldn't be alive if it weren't for the police officers who responded to his shooting.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says Russian meddling in the U.S. elections is not President Trump's fault.
Let's not forget that this happened under Obama. It didn't happen under President Trump. If you want to blame somebody on past problems, then you need to look at the Obama administration.
Sanders says President Trump is trying to prevent Russian meddling in American elections.
The president is looking at all of the different causes and all of the different ways that we can prevent it. And as we find different ways that we can do that, we're implementing them.
More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Amazing to realize, but it's been almost 2 years I've been talking with you about Relief Factor, and I can tell you I've been continually inundated with testimonials. If you're struggling with ongoing back or neck pain, shoulder, hip, or knee pain, or general muscle pain, pains of any kind, do what tens of thousands of others have done so successfully. Go to ReliefFactor.com and order their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. 1-800-500-8384. That's 1-800-500-8384.
American consumers are the most confident they've been since November 2000.
The Conference Board says its Consumer Confidence Index rose to 130.8 in February, up from 124.3 in January. The Business Research Group's index measures consumers' assessment of current conditions and their outlook for the next 6 months. Both rose in February. A strong job market is boosting confidence as consumers shrugged off volatility in the stock market.
Correspondent Jeremy Howell says the gun debate heats up following the massacre at a Florida high school. Companies are under growing pressure to pick a side, whether to stand by the National Rifle Association or walk away. The NRA has pushed back, calling the departure of its corporate partners a shameful display of political and civic cowardice. So far, credit card companies have resisted calls by some consumers to limit their cards to use to purchase guns. Visa said it strives to make its payment services available to everyone within the confines of national and international laws. This is townhall.com. A new Anti-Defamation League report shows a big increase in cases.
The Anti-Defamation League says it found 1,986 anti-Semitic incidents last year, up from 1,267 the year before. It's the highest total since 1994, and it is the largest single-year increase since the group began collecting data in 1979. I'm Shirley Smith.
A former Arizona State senator easily outpaced another candidate embroiled in a sexting scandal and 10 other Republicans to win Tuesday's primary to replace a U.S. congressman who quit amid charges of sexual misconduct. Former State Senator Debbie Lesko becomes the immediate favorite in the heavily Republican 8th Congressional District to replace former U.S. Representative Trent Franks, also a Republican. Lesko will face Democratic nominee Heral Tiperneni, a political newcomer, in an April 24th.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tata. Children are curious little things. I remember once while doing grocery shopping, a little boy yelled out to his mother that he wanted a race car just like mine. That race car was my wheelchair. As a quadriplegic, I have had kids stare and point, as well as embarrassed parents quickly shushing their children. But to me, these moments are a great way to start a conversation on disability. The thing is, how do you even get that conversation started? How do you explain to a child what it's like to be a quadriplegic or to be visually impaired or have autism? The good news is there are many resources out there, from videos to children's books on disabilities to fun activities that can simulate what it's like to have a disability. To learn more and download free resources for kids, check out our Kids Corner link at disabilitycampaign.org.
Let's face it, too often in life, too many people and too many organizations make promises they cannot keep or do not keep. Hospitals do that. Nursing homes do that. Insurance companies do that all the time. At LGKG, we not only keep our promise to prosecute your case to the best of our ability, but we also promise that we will help make sure that the insurance company keeps their promise to you. At LGKG, you can count on us to keep our promises.
This is your total information source, The Mike Gallagher Show. We keep you connected to the headlines like no one else, featuring the biggest newsmakers and news breakers.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
What I would say to your millions of listeners all over the country is now is the time to let your voice be heard.
And now, in the ReliefFactor.com studios, here is Mike Gallagher.
We're in a pretty extraordinary place this week. We're broadcasting from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. It's known as the NRB. It's in the single biggest hotel resort complex in the universe. It took me 3 hours and 45 minutes to get from my hotel room to the broadcast position today, and I had to have, like the airlines, they have those people that flag in the planes with the cones. I needed cones to find out where I was going. This place is so huge, and it's beautiful, and they've got these indoor trees and gardens and restaurants, and what a magnificent place for a convention. And of course, Nashville is a big convention city, and we are just having a great time here at the NRB. There's a lot to cover this hour. A lot of breaking news that we're on top of. Of course, the national debate about gun safety, school safety, gun violence continues, and this has taken some really bad turns. We're going to tackle that because the president says, hey, you got to be willing maybe to buck the NRA, which was a little surprising considering the NRA and the Second Amendment lovers' support for the president. We'll get into all of that. Not everybody has been particularly supportive of the president. There's a Tennessee senator who's decided to throw in the towel. Bob Corker has been going back and forth on whether or not to seek re-election. Well, the decision is in.
Breaking now on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Brushing aside pleas from some of his fellow Republicans, Senator Bob Corker has decided he will not seek re-election for a third term. Corker's chief of staff, Todd Womack, told USA Today and other reporters that the senator has decided not to seek a third term. The spokesman said over the past several months, Senator Corker has been encouraged by people across Tennessee and in the Senate to reconsider his decision based on the outpouring of support. We spent the last few days doing our due diligence, and a clear path for re-election was laid out. However, at the end of the day, the senator believes he made the right decision in September and will be leaving the Senate when his term expires at the end of 2018. You know, it's fascinating to see some of these never-Trumpers. Jeff Flake comes to mind, Senator Corker. These guys have been harshly critical of the president, and for many of us who want to advance the ball down the field, who want policy achievements, who want policy success, it's not productive to hear a Republican bash a Republican president. It's counterproductive. It's exactly what liberal Democrats want. It's exactly what Hillary supporters want. It's exactly what the opposition wants. And these guys have played right into their hands. And, you know, this is such a difficult time for any pundit, for any politician, for anybody watching politics, following it. You've got the president's tweets and the temperament and the feuds and the behavioral stuff on one path. And then you've got policy achievements on the other. You've got enormous page after page after page of regulatory reform, getting rid of the Obamacare mandate, crushing ISIS, the economy booming in many aspects, jobs being created, the sanctity of life being preserved. You know, I often say to my conservative friends who don't like Donald Trump, yeah, but if you had Hillary Clinton as president, what do you think would happen on the issue of life? Life matters. And this is a president who happens to be pro-life. Now you say, well, he's got rough edges. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I call him the bull he's a bull in a china shop. We know that. But we knew it when the American people voted for him and elected him. And it should be no surprise that this bombast is continuing. Don't take your eye off the ball. Don't forget the policy achievements that have happened. Don't forget the path of conservatism that has been achieved. If you think Hillary Clinton, well, you think she'd be more conservative than Donald Trump? You think Madam Hillary would have a more conservative ideological policy list than Donald Trump? Come on, give me a break. You're not thinking this through. Even on the issue that we're having right now, in this massive debate about guns in America and gun safety and the NRA has blood on its hands, and they're a terrorist organization, blah, blah, blah. You know what the NRA is? The NRA is an organization that fights diligently for the Second Amendment of the Constitution. The NRA is also an organization that does a lot with gun safety and instructing people on how to be responsible, respectful, careful gun owners. The NRA is not the reason 17 people are dead in Parkland, Florida. And it's enough already with these attacks. So social media lines up, and Twitter kids, they say, let's go after FedEx, let's go after United Airlines, let's go after Delta, because they offer discounts to the millions of members of the NRA if they want to use their product. And some of these companies fold. Okay, we're not going to have anything to do with the NRA. We won't have any, all right, we're done. Well, there are some consequences. Delta Airlines has decided to sever ties with the NRA, but the lieutenant governor of the state of Georgia, who's a Republican gubernatorial candidate, a guy named Casey Cagle, blasted Delta's decision to end the relationship. And here's what he said. He said, you can't target conservatives this way. You can't as a business expect tax breaks from our state while you're punishing people who support the Second Amendment. Here's what the Georgia Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle said about tax breaks for Delta going forward.
I'm tired of conservatives being kicked around on our values, and it's time that we stand up and fight and show corporations that conservative values are important to not just Georgia but to the entire nation. And certainly Delta is a wonderful corporate partner. We can fight for jobs, but we can also fight for our values, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Are you going to pull that part of the bill?
I think Delta has a decision to be made at this point.
He's saying we're not going to give tax breaks as a state to Delta, a major employer, if they continue down this path. That's a bold, brave position. Because the easy way out is to say, okay, and then I don't want anything to do with the NRA. I got 37 Twitter complaints tonight. I'm done. We're out. Enterprise out. United Airlines out. America. Well, Delta, you're going to have to think this through, because there may be people pushing back. FedEx is pushing back. You know, Ed Morrissey, who we're going to be on stage with in Minnesota, I'm excited. I'll tell you more about that in the days to come. When a major corporation tells the movement, no mas, that's what FedEx did. FedEx announced that it's not going to change its discount policies. FedEx said they value their customers for more than just their politics. They're not getting into this political spat, and they're not going to remove a discount offered to members of the NRA. This has become a big political football. But I celebrate the debate. We ought to talk about it. We ought to have this conversation. The First Lady is defending the right of these students from Stoneman Douglas High School to speak out. Here's what Melania Trump said about the students who in many cases are being vilified on social media. There's a lot of conservatives, others who are blasting these kids. I get it. I understand you don't like seeing these kids on CNN and MSNBC. They're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids whose friends were massacred. And I get it. I know they're trying to be activists, and they think they've got their moment in the sun. I've got socks older than some of these kids. So let's remember that these are wet behind the ears young kids, idealistic, misguided. Let's meet them in the arena of ideas, but let's not name call. Let's not tear them down. Let's not take away their right to say what they believe. And again, the First Lady, Melania Trump, says we should defend their right to speak out.
I have been heartened to see children across this country using their voices to speak out and try to create change. They're our future, and they deserve a voice.
I think she's right. Just because we disagree with what some of these kids are saying about the NRA, there's other kids from Stoneman Douglas supporting the NRA, supporting the Second Amendment, supporting the very common sense idea of armed teachers. How do you oppose that? If a teacher who is already trained, already well equipped, and is a responsible gun owner, if they take additional training and they go through the rigors of being a responsible gun owner, why wouldn't you want a teacher to be able to protect these precious students in a classroom? Wayne LaPierre, whatever you think of him, has always been right. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. There's no other gray area. You're not going to have a tickle contest with somebody who wants to kill people. You're not going to reason with them. You're not going to talk them out of it. You got to take him or her down. Reasonable people know that. And one final thought before we take your calls here at the NRB in Nashville. I am reminded, and I'm surrounded by people who are in the religious broadcasting community, the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. May we never forget the power and impact of prayer during these difficult times. We're going through a tough debate right now, tough times. People are hurting, people are anguished. Remember to pray for this country. Remember to pray for our leaders. Remember to pray for our legislators. Remember to pray for the people in Florida who've been through so much. And pray for people who have to make tough decisions, not only in Washington, but in state houses all over the country, city councils, county councils. Prayer works, and it's a nice backdrop to be here at the NRB to be reminded of that very, very important admonition. It's 18 past the hour. Welcome in to the Mike Gallagher Show for a Tuesday at the NRB. Feel free to join us. Our number is 1-800-655-MIKE, 800-655-6453. If you'd like to watch the show as well as listen to it, if you're by a computer, we're streaming today. We got our camera here. Pavlina is next to me pushing all the buttons, and she's got literally a hamster on a wheel, and we're making the hamster roll up on the wheel, because if he stops moving, then the thing powers down. She's got some duct tape and some bubble gum, and she's got some string, and she's got that tape to the back, and it's working. It's working, Pavlina. So if you want to watch our show and stream and see it on the computer, just go to MikeOnline.com if you're near a computer and hit the Mike on TV button. You'll be able to watch the show as you listen to it. And that hamster's only got about 40 minutes to go. He's tired. We're giving him some water. And we'll feed him as long as he doesn't break down in the next 40 minutes. Welcome in 800-655-MIKE, the NRB in Nashville. Your voice, your call, your perspective. Coming up.
It comes so easy when you get to the part where you're breaking my heart. Hide behind your smile.
You keep seeing those invitations in your mailbox. In fact, you're probably already joined. You've got the AARP card. You thought, well, it's less than $20 a year. They help with insurance plans, travel, restaurant discounts. And so you joined a liberal lobbying group that spends millions of dollars a year lobbying against what you believe in and stand for. That's why a decade ago, Dan Weber founded AMAC. AMAC is also less than $20 a year. They also help with insurance plans, travel, restaurant discounts, and their card will also pay for itself 10 times over. And your dollars go to support things you believe in. Common sense immigration laws, the passage of tax reform, replacing Obamacare, and AMAC gets its voice from you, the member. Over 1 million strong. Join now at amac.us, amac.us, or call toll-free 888-262-2006, amac.us, or call 888-262-2006. You're going to join a group for seniors and join the group that represents you. Join AMAC today.
I was fed up with the overwhelming liberal bias in public schools, so I decided to homeschool my kids. The problem was finding a curriculum that represented the values I grew up with. Things like faith, family, patriotism, and the truth about our country's history. Then I checked out BJU Press. BJU Press has everything our homeschool needs, and with the right values. Go to bjupresshomeschool.com and see for yourself. You'll feel good about how you homeschool.
Hello, I'd like to deposit this to checking.
Fate is a fickle master.
What?
The future is uncertain.
Okay, and what's my account balance?
The horizon is cloudy. I see a long, treacherous voyage filled with great peril.
Look, can I just get a deposit slip or something?
A fortune bank teller. Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
I see a yellow-eyed serpent and a low APR.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Spring is just around the corner. Now's the time to get those home projects done so you can spend spring and summer being with your loved ones. Home Advisor makes it so easy to find the right pros for any project. Whether it's a small project like fixing a leaky faucet or a big project like remodeling a kitchen, go to homeadvisor.com. Tell them about your project. In just seconds, you're going to be matched with the best professionals in the area for the exact job you need. The pros are background checked. You can read verified customer reviews, compare prices, check availability, even book appointments all online. And with their project cost guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area. No matter what home project you've been thinking about, painting, getting your gutters cleaned, even a big job like a brand new roof, HomeAdvisor.com makes it so easy to find and hire the very best pros in your area. You're going to love the way they do business. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to HomeAdvisor.com. That's HomeAdvisor.com, or download the free app to get started.
Mike Gallagher.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-651-4888 now. That's 800-651-4888 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-651-4888 to learn more. 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
The way you get your medicine prescriptions is now changing across America. GoGoMeds.com can deliver your medicine right to your door. Here's all you need to do. Your doctor gives you the prescription. You go online to GoGoMeds.com, put in your information, and make sure to include the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. Your meds are then delivered to your home, and you've saved money. It's that easy. No more waiting, no lines, no copay each month, and best of all, no wandering around the store aimlessly waiting for your prescription to be filled. GoGoMeds.com, the new way to get your medicine delivered right to your door. Remember that getting your prescription filled now means never having to go to a store again. GoGoMeds.com. GoGoMeds.com. Use the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. That's GoGoMeds.com, promo code MIKE2018.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper in credit card debt? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management will consolidate your accounts and work with your creditors. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
Mike Gallagher.
The Drudge Report is saying that the president is about to go public with something he's already been talking about. The president is set to announce he'll seek a second term in 2020. Also, with 2016 campaign CEO Steve Bannon falling out of favor with the president, he now will reportedly tap Brad Parscale to serve as his campaign manager for the second go-round. Parscale served as the digital director of the Trump campaign. You may have seen this guy on 60 Minutes. He was featured on 60 Minutes. He was heralded in the Washington Post as the genius who won Trump's campaign, relying on Facebook to help propel Trump to the White House. But not everybody's buying it. There is breaking news. Big news. Barbara Streisand has declared that Trump is not the legitimately elected president of the United States. She told Variety, "I really believe Hillary Clinton won the election." She said, Babs said she's talked to senators from Michigan and Wisconsin I do believe they were playing with those voter machines. Al Gore lost by 537 votes out of 104 million. Do you realize people like Barbara Streisand, they're still mad about the George Bush-Al Gore election? She's still mad about that. She'll never get over Trump beating Hillary in 2016. She's going to be 100 years old. She's going to be complaining about Trump beating Hillary. She said, Barbara Streisand told Variety, in retrospect, George Bush looks quite good compared to Trump. Now remember, she used to call Bush a war criminal and he's a Nazi, blah, blah. She says, at least Bush isn't mean-spirited. Okay. And Barbara Streisand went on to pin some of the blame for the Parkland, Florida shooting on Trump. It's somehow the president's fault for an overall climate of violence to which she thinks the president is to blame. There's another radio host named Michael Savage who wrote a book, Liberalism is a Mental Disorder. Sometimes I think he's right. More from the NRB coming up. Don't go away.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic
and Cindy Lukasevic,
inviting you and your pets to Dynovite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Mike Gallagher.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to...
Neighbors helping neighbors. Locally owned. That's what Rochester Manor and Villa is all about. Rochester Manor and Villa is changing the conversation about what a senior living community is in Beaver County, providing a healthcare community on a whole new level that offers more daily choices, including new 24-hour dining options, rehabilitation accommodations, and catered living, plus a full-time in-house medical director. Rochester Manor and Villa has undergone an incredible building transformation that includes the addition of a restaurant, pub, spa, state-of-the-art therapy gym, as well as many other features designed to elevate you or your loved one's quality of life. Rochester Manor and Villa is the only skilled nursing and personal care home in Beaver County. Visit them online at rmv4me.com. That's RMV, the number 4, ME.com.
Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy is a locally owned pharmacy at 525 Fifth Avenue in New Brighton. Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy is a fully computerized and automated pharmacy offering personal counseling, prescription compounding, diabetic supplies, cards, gifts, and more. Bring your next prescription to Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy. Call Brighton Health Mart Pharmacy at 724-847-7979. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Flooded vehicles from recent hurricanes will soon be flooding the used car market, so it's buyer beware. Flooded vehicles are supposed to be dismantled for usable parts or crushed for scrap and a flood title issued to that damaged car. But some unscrupulous dealers will buy a flooded vehicle, clean it up, and get it retitled with no indication it was flooded. Or uninsured cars will be cleaned up by the owner and sold online, also with no warning to the buyer. If the price seems too good to be true, there's a good chance you're buying a lemon. Make sure to check for flood damage and have a qualified mechanic inspect it before you write a check. The free VIN check service from the National Insurance Crime Bureau is a good place to start to see if a car has been in a flood. Go to www.nicb.org to check it out. And if you suspect fraud, give us a call at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Hi, I'm Johnny Erickson Tata. Children are curious little things. I remember once, while doing grocery shopping, a little boy yelled out to his mother that he wanted a race car just like mine. That race car was my wheelchair. As a quadriplegic, I have had kids stare and point, as well as embarrassed parents quickly shushing their children. But to me, these moments are a great way to start a conversation on disability. The thing is, how do you even get that conversation started? How do you explain to a child what it's like to be a quadriplegic or to be visually impaired or have autism? The good news is there are many resources out there, from videos to children's books on disabilities to fun activities that can simulate what it's like to have a disability. To learn more and download free resources for kids, check out our Kids Corner link at disabilitycampaign.org.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
There will be a complete silence unless otherwise indicated.
You're listening to The Mike Gallagher Show.
Hey, Joseph, how are you?
Fine, Mike. I'm glad I was able to get through to you.
Me too.
And I appreciate what you do for America.
Once again, here's Mike in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
We're going to get to hang out with somebody very important on tomorrow's show. A little hint. He is a heartbeat away from the presidency. We're going to talk to somebody who I think will get a very good reception here at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Vice President Mike Pence will be our guest on our show tomorrow. I hope you can join us. We also got some great news today about our Hawaiian, the Aloha Talkers Cruise, August 11th through the 18th. As you know, my friends and colleagues, Hugh Hewitt, Larry Elder, and I, and Larry Elder, incidentally, is also broadcasting here from the NRB later today. But Larry and Hugh and I are hosting a group of listeners to the Hawaiian Islands, a beautiful cruise by day on a Norwegian Cruise Lines cruise ship. And then at night, we're all going to gather. We're going to talk about the midterms and Trump and all the political world that we're embroiled in. And it was just announced our special guest will be the founder and creator of the MyPillow himself. Mike Lindell, Mr. MyPillow, will be our featured guest on the cruise. You'll get to meet him. You'll hang out with him. You'll get to talk to him. And he said he's going to put a pair of premium MyPillows with their great sheets in every stateroom, and you'll get to take those pillows home with you if you join us on the cruise. So you're not going to want to miss this cruise, and a chance to hang out with Mike Lindell. Is a tremendous guy, just a great story. He, of course, is a real solid. If you notice on his TV commercials, when he pops out of the medicine cabinet, he's always got his cross on. That's important to him, that he professes his faith in public. He's a solid conservative. He's working with Ben Carson, the Trump administration, on a lot of initiatives to help kids in the inner cities. He's a great guy, and you'll want to meet him, because to meet him is really inspirational. You will walk away from this cruise. It's just going to be an incredible trip. August 11th through the 18th, Larry Elder, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, and our special guest, Mike Lindell. No word yet on whether we're going to call this the MyPillow Cruise, but I'm going to go ahead and call it the MyPillow Cruise through the Hawaiian Islands. For details, just go to MikeOnline.com. You better hurry now, because I guarantee you there'll be a lot of interest in joining us with Mike Lindell Lindell is our special guest. So don't be late and don't put it off. Go to MikeOnline.com, click on the cruise banner on the right side of the page. MikeOnline.com, click on the cruise banner, or call 855-655-1335, 855-655-1335. They'll send you information about the 2018 Aloha Talkers Cruise featuring Mike Lindell. Here's the president's take on the NRA. It's a little complicated. As most things that President Trump says, there's no, black or white. I mean, he kind of is a little conflicted on his role with the NRA. The NRA has become almost public enemy number one after the shootings last week in Parkland, Florida. Listen to what the president said at a gathering of state governors about the role that the NRA plays and what we have to do going forward after this horrible school shooting.
I had lunch with Wayne LaPierre, Chris Cox, and David Lehman of the NRA. And I want to tell you, they want to do something. And I said, fellas, we got to do something. It's too long now. We got to do something. And we're going to do very strong background checks. Very strong. We've got to do background checks. If we see a sicko, I don't want him having a gun. And, I know there was a time when anybody could have. I mean, even if they were sick, they were fighting. And I said, fellas, we can't do it anymore. And there's no bigger fan of the Second Amendment than me, and there's no bigger fan of the NRA. Don't worry about the NRA. They're on our side. You guys, half of you are so afraid of the NRA. There's nothing to be afraid of. And you know what? If they're not with you, we have to fight them every once in a while. That's okay. They're doing what they think is right. I will tell you, they are doing what they think is right. But sometimes we're going to have to be very tough, and we're going to have to fight them. But we need strong background checks. For a long period of time, people resisted that. But now people, I think, are really into it.
That's the quintessential Donald Trump, isn't it? All right, they're on our side, but sometimes you got to fight them. That's okay. They're with us because they're with the Second Amendment, but sometimes you got to fight them, and we're going to fight them. That's the deal maker at work, and that's the president doing what he does best, saying, all right, everything's on the table. Let's figure out solutions. Let's figure out what we're going to do. The trouble is, and I'm again reminded about this environment here at the NRB, the National Religious Broadcasters Association, where I guarantee you almost everybody in attendance would be the first to say, one thing we have to do is acknowledge the presence of evil. Evil is real. Evil exists. A lot of people on the left don't think there's good or evil. A lot of people on the left say the reason why that guy shot all those people, he wet the bed when he was a kid, and his dad was mean to him, and his mom died, or something happened. You know what? It could be that he's an evil person, and evil people do evil things. And when evil confronts us, you either stare it down, you try to beat it, or you run away. And I don't think we're inclined to do any running these days, do you? 800-655-MIKE. Let's go off and run into your phone calls as we continue this busy broadcast from the beautiful Gaylord Opryland Resort here in Nashville. Justin, you're first up on the Mike Gallagher Show. Welcome to Nashville. How are you?
Hey, thanks, Mike. I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. I'm glad you joined us.
You sound great. I wanted to start off by telling you how much I appreciate in this and in most things, really. When I listen to you, you're one of the only guys out there that can be at the same time logical, reasonable, compassionate. You wait for the facts. I really appreciate your stance on these kids that are speaking out and how you've chosen to deal with that. But you're not telling any less truth in the meantime. So
thank you
That's
for
being
very kind
a reasonable voice in the middle of an emotional situation.
Thank you, Justin.
Now,
your kind words are very much appreciated.
Well, thank you, sir. Yesterday I had to get out of the car before you were done, and I don't know if you got to this, so maybe my question's useless and already been answered. Has anybody looked into what the local Broward County Sheriff's Office tactics, techniques, and procedures, policies, standard operating procedures, what their procedure prescribes for this situation? Has anybody answered that question?
Well, yes, because the sheriff's deputy, who's the public enemy number one, who's been vilified, Scott Peterson, says their policy specifically says if there's a shooter outside a building like a school, you're to take cover and engage pretty much just the way he did. Now, there's a dispute, though, because, of course, the expectation is, why didn't you go in guns blazing? He thought, according to his defense, he saw a victim outside, that the shooter was outside. Right. So there's a and it's a great question, Justin, and I'm not saying that because you said such nice things about me, although you are a very powerful, handsome, and incredibly astute man, and I'm glad that you called us. You know, you've got good taste in talk show hosts. but no, there has been a rush to judgment with this Scott Peterson. Let's face it, and it has to do with Sheriff Israel, this guy who's kind of bombastic and defensive, and he said the other night in an interview, well, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, OJ wouldn't be in the record books. And I think it was Jake Tapper looked at him and said, what are you talking about? What do you mean by that? So the Sheriff Israel threw this deputy under the bus before this deputy has had the chance for any kind of due process. And that's a problem. We ought to be concerned about, I mean, a lot of things are happening in our country with this lack of process. There's no evidence. We've just decided that social media condemns somebody and they're done. Guilty, as charged. And then, of course, there's an afterthought. Wait a minute, did that person? So I have been concerned and apprehensive about the demonization of Scott Peterson all along. I've been worried about the way this guy's life has been completely destroyed. He resigned. I guess he retired because he didn't want to face the scrutiny. He's under guard. I mean, there are fellow deputies who are guarding his home. Where does he go for his life now? He's destroyed. And now he's got a lawyer, and I think he's pushing back, and we'll see how it plays out. Appreciate your call, Justin, very much. Jeff, you're next up. Welcome to the NRB in Nashville. How are you, Jeff? Jeff, are you there?
Hey, this is Jeff in Marietta, Georgia.
Hi, Jeff. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. Glad that you're doing well, too.
Thank you.
A couple things I wanted to say is that we really need to start giving people the benefit of the doubt. No matter how many facts have been given out there, who knows if the facts are really the facts? They're really the facts. Quit calling people names. Like you mentioned earlier this morning, once you call someone a name, you've lost the argument and proven that you really don't know what you're talking about. It's just stupid and drives to the point no place except into the ground. It's irrelevant to the argument. And then the last thing I wanted to say was if people really cared about teenagers, they'd really start looking at all the other ways that teenagers die. Most of the time teenagers die or children die, it's in some sort of a car accident or some accident, an unintentional kind of thing. But I really think that we should focus more on cars if you really wanted to be concerned about teenagers and making sure that they live long, prosperous lives.
Hey, some great points, Jeff. Thank you very much. Some great calls today. Very smart people joining us here on the Mike Gallagher Show. 16 minutes before the hour, we're in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Portions of our show brought to you by BJU Press. You want to homeschool your child? Everything related to the homeschool community you'll find at one site, BJUPressHomeschool.com. They have the educational resources you need to start a spiritual revolution. BJU Press. Go to BJUPressHomeschool.com today. Coming up, more on this ongoing debate. And I want to go back one more time to something we talked a little bit about yesterday. Mona Charen, who wrote an opinion piece saying, I'm glad I got booed at CPAC, because she ripped President Trump at CPAC, and they had to give her a security escort out of the building. We'll dive into that and more as we continue this special edition of the Mike Gallagher Show, live from the Gaylord Resort in Nashville and the NRB. Stay with us.
And rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. What the world needs love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
We're set up here in the Gaylord right outside the main registration area in this big cavernous open room, and there's some seats set up here, and people come by and watch the show. There's a lady right in the front row a few minutes ago, and I was walking by, and she said, "Tell me about this Relief Factor you take. I got to know if it works for shoulder pain." I said, "It absolutely works for shoulder pain. It works for any kind of pain, back pain, leg pain, aches and pains from working out." Relief Factor sponsors our live stream, which is currently up and running at MikeOnline.com, and I'm proud of our partnership with this great company. Relief Factor is made from high-quality fish oil and essential nutrients and gives your body the help it needs to fight recurring aches and pains. You don't want to go down the path of ibuprofen with all its negative side effects, or, of course, prescription drugs. Try a natural approach to pain relief. Relief Factor. Don't take my word for it. Try the 3-week quick start. It's $19.95. You can try the product for 3 weeks and decide if it's for you or not. If it's not, you're out $20. But if it is, think about living life without the pain. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384. 800-500-8384. As I told the young lady who asked me about it a few minutes ago, I take a packet every morning, a packet every evening, and that lower back pain I used to have is completely gone. Relief Factor. It's a great product. Try it. ReliefFactor.com.
Mike Gallagher.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are only barely making minimum payments, know this: you may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt, and they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Call National Debt Relief now and escape your credit card debt troubles. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288.
Do you know that a recent politician once asked, "I've wondered at times what the 10 Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress." That's a quote from Ronald Reagan, of course. He showed us through his life, his faith, and with his words that Judeo-Christian values and principles still matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan, and you can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other